Hey, amazing people. Hello, hello. Welcome on in. Just hoping that you guys are intact, that you can definitely hear your girl. Let's see what's going on. I think we are here fully. Hey, everybody, come on in. How are you all doing? I am I'm grateful to be here, and there's so much to talk about. There's really so much to talk about. And I'm excited that you're here. And let's check some things out. Just give me a quick second here. Hey there, my friend. Magandan Umaga or Magandan Gabi. How are you? Great to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Magandan Umaga? Is that it? Thanks, thanks. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. I know in these YouTube streets, they're not the same anymore. Things have changed a little bit. We don't see each other as often because of the algorithm. And so I have to be intentional about coming and look for you guys. I just uploaded a video after months. Do check it out. It's less than 10 minutes. So if you are able to do that, just let it run some ads on it. I really, really appreciate it. But tonight I want to talk about family, and it's hard. Um, when you grow up and you become your own, and your family still see you as that little kid. Your family still sees you as you guys, playing and fighting or whatever we do as kids. But when we become adults, life changes, and it's very difficult at times when that happens. It's very difficult when life changes and you become an adult. And so that's where also too you have to choose to show up and sign, not so much sign, but to create healthy boundaries. And healthy boundaries are important. I do talk a lot about that. And sometimes, we all struggle when we struggle with the fact that we have to draw boundaries around ourselves, boundaries around our homes, our our relationships, our money, our business. And right now in the news, a very popular singer, actress, Broadway actress, singer, Grammy nominated awardee, all of those things, and this young woman, she has a lot that's going on. The thing about it, when you are in the public eye, there's going to be a light that's going to shine on you. It's going to focus on you. And so people are going to think that they can say whatever they want about you as if you do not exist, and almost as if they own you. When you are in the public eye, it's almost as if they feel that they own you, that they can say anything, or they can show up, or they want to take photos. And that's one of the things that we see. And having seen some of this from the outside, as the outsider looking in, it's after a while, it seems like it gets to be too much. How do I know? Back in the day when I did some radio. Hey guys, thanks for coming in. Don't forget to do a thumbs up. And a lot of these up and coming stars at the time, a few of them up and coming, and you would see it. And then after a while, people were just hangers on. So when you are in the public eye, there are going to be a lot of hangers on, and there are going to be people, hopefully, who will protect you. And there's some people who are users. There's some people who will try to use you. And so you don't know who to trust. And then also you have your family when you look at it. Let's talk a little bit about family pain, the drain, and the shame that comes with it. Because if you are in the spotlight and then you're just trying to deal with your family, you have to set healthy boundaries. So we're looking at the young lady who won the American Idol, and I remember just seeing her, and you just knew there was greatness in her. You just knew that she was anointed. So many of us for what she was called to do, and I something happened, and if you know who I'm talking about, Fantasia, and love her. You cannot not love her, not here to point fingers or anything of the sort. But a few of the videos came up when, her journey. And in the audience, you could see her mom, her dad, her brother, her mom, her dad, her brother, and I think her grandma. And you saw the family unity that was there. But one of the things about it, guys, when you become famous, when you are at another level, life changes. And so some of the things that you weren't aware of, it either can make you or break you. So let's say that you become famous. All of a sudden, you become famous. You got your mom, you got your dad, your grandma, you got everybody in the family. But there's another side of you. You are an entity, you are a business. And being a business, there are people, especially in the music industry, there are people who invest in you. People will see it and think it's a lot of bling and all of that stuff. No way. Because if they put that money up first, they're going to want to recoup everything. They want to go recoup hair, makeup, clothing, transportation, studio time, food, a whole lot of things that needs to be recouped before you get a penny, and they're people to pay. So now the spotlight and the stress is on the the entertainer, right? It's on that person who is now a business, who is now an entity. And that person needs to take care of themselves, need to take care of their voice, need to take care of themselves, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and showing up here and there in interviews and all types of things. So the pressure is on that person who now becomes that entity, who is now that business, who is now that person or thing or business that they're in. It's almost as if you're not a person anymore because they're investing in you and they want their ROI. They want their return of investment. And so that's a lot of pressure. So this person needs to go out there and do all of that stuff. So even with the Fantasia Barrina, even with her story, I never really watched the full story, but it keeps coming up on YouTube, and I think I'm going to watch it. Guys, thank you for coming in. Yes, thank you all for coming in because when I do this thing, I usually close my eyes. So here we are. Thanks for listening in. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. So now you are that, you are that business and you have to show up. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, it doesn't matter. You still need to show up because these people, they want their money. They want their money's worth. And so when I look at some of the things that she needed to do. And yes, you want to take care of your family. But one of the things that I've learned over the years that when you are doing business, you do need to make sure that you have a mentor, you have a coach, you have a therapist. Listen, you need all of that. And because when you go back into, say, a Thanksgiving, you're with your family's your family. They don't care if you're a star. They don't care anything. They don't care if you run businesses. Your family does not care. You're still that knucklehead. You're still that, whatever, whatever. And that's your family. But outside of that, now you're that entity. I keep saying that. And I want people to kind of understand when I see everything that this young woman is going through because we all love her. So many of us voted for her, cried, and all of those things. And so here you are. Then it becomes almost sort of isolating because your family may not understand the depth of it. And I will say this to anybody who's in business or you're doing anything, you do need to understand what this is about. You may think you don't have time, but you may need to carve that time out. You will need to carve that time out because I'm going to tell you this, if you don't know what's going on, right, or somebody who's looking out for you, they're going to be people who are looking out for themselves. And it's just the nature of the game because you're tired, you're exhausted, and one has to be very strong in one's faith, right? You got to be very strong with that through prayer and still find time for that and just hoping that they're good people. So sometimes too, our families, they can love us and we love our family, but they may not understand business. They may not understand the depth of it, right? And so it's hard when you're working, you're just working, working, and then somebody just expect as if and it's not even so much the money, it's the respect of it and the understanding. And I would say this to anyone that if you have family members in your business, you've got to set the boundaries around it. You've got to say, hey, if you're on the payroll, what is your job, right? What is the job description? What is it that you're supposed to do? How and when and how often are you supposed to show up? Is it on a 1099, a contract basis? Is there a specific amount of time? And or who's going to do payroll and all of those things, what needs to be accounted for? But when you're young and you go into a business, you don't know, you're not that even sophisticated, right? John, hey, you're not even that sophisticated to know all of that stuff, right? You may not know it all. And so, who is going to tell you that, like, hey, you need to take a day off? And, you need to have other people who are watching the people who are watching those people, and so forth and so on. And and also reading is fundamental. Reading is very important because most of the stuff and the information you need, you can find it there. But sometimes they keep you so busy. You have rehearsals, you have dress rehearsals, you have sound checks, you have all of these things to do and no time for you. How does a young person coming up in the business carve all of that out when they don't know? And I've found that having been around people in the industry, I found that a lot of artists, they are about their art. They are about creating, they're about creating their music. That's what they do. They're not about the books and a P&L and the checks and balances and this and the SWOTs and the da 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 da. No, it's not that stuff. I just found them to be creatives. I just found, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they were born to do. And so we've seen it over the years where a lot of people in the business have gotten pretty much ripped off because they didn't know the business. Guys, if you're listening in and this makes sense to you, definitely you can go ahead and give a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And this is something that we could use for ourselves. Don't wait and say, oh, well, I'm not a star. I don't have to get up on a stage and perform. But maybe you are an entrepreneur. Maybe you are somebody who's starting a business. Maybe you want your family to come in and it's not that they don't want to help. Maybe they don't understand it fully. So sometimes it's best to just go out there and get the information you need. However, this is why I'm saying if you have your family members with good intention, you have to set healthy boundaries and people who will look out for you. Okay. And I think too, even with Fantasia's business, I'm not out here to, let me take a sip of my hot chocolate. Mhm. I'm not out here um, to criticize her or say that she did anything wrong. It's just extending grace and looking at the history, looking at the journey, and how family can either, because you want your family to do well, right? They want you to do well, but there are those who may feel as if, well, because you are my family, then we have to I am entitled to this. No, there needs to be an understanding. There needs to be someone who will say, okay, these are now, you are, because I am this person, this entity, right? And she's been years in the game, 20 years. So some of these things she learned afterwards that that's a business. And the business, yes, I'm your family member, but the business, you know, It has to make money. And if this is what you do, then that's that. And so, when you have business and family and friends, you can't mix the two. It is so much better that you have agreements in place. And when I learned that, some years ago from a coach that I worked with, I said, how are you able to keep your friendship and these multi six-figure deals and some even more than that? How do you do that? One of the things she said, I always make sure that we have agreements. And oh my God, guys, just think of it. She said, I always make certain that we have agreements so that there's clarity around the business and it does not affect our friendship or our relationship. Let that sink in for a moment, right? Just think of it. You have agreements in place. And so you don't have to worry about, um, is this person going to, uh, you know, not honor the agreement, because the agreement is there. And if it isn't there, then there are legalities where, that needs to be taken care of. And so sometimes too, people, and I've experienced it, I've worked with people and they just think because you're nice, but even though I may have agreements in place, they will think that the niceness is a way of getting over. To me, it just shows dishonor that you're choosing not to honor something, especially when you've gotten your return of investment. And sometimes too, people don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work because, and even when I say you with it, because you're not going to win all the time, right? You're not going to win all the time. Sometimes you are going to lose, and sometimes you're going to win. So think about it. You're not going to win all the time. So you are going to, and you do deserve to have good people around you, good people in your corner. So my question to you is this. If you are thinking about entrepreneurship, or you are an entrepreneur and you're thinking about, I just want my family to come in, you're going to have clear lines. You need clarity around it. You need a team. You need those three important people in your team. You need your board of directors, even if they're not on your board, but there's a way that you can create that. You can have other people in different disciplines, right? That you can always check in with them, and the respect, of course, respect what they're doing, because you're not there to take advantage of people. And that's what I had to learn, that, hey, listen, yes, I would have loved my family to be a part of this. Yes, I would have loved for them to really support this thing or invest in it. And, I've done it, presented the letters, here's what we do. And if it's a no, it's a no, then that's fine. And you move on. But I also find that when, even with family, sometimes you got to step out of it. What are you willing to do? And I was willing to get coaching. Some people think that, oh, coaching, they want all this money and da 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 da. Let me tell you something. It is worth every penny. You need somebody who's going to be objective. You need somebody who's going to look at what it is that you're doing. And you may have all the ideas in the world. And I always say this to people, and if some of you don't know, I've coached for many years, and some of you follow me on Instagram. You can just go up there and you see some of the testimonials in the link in the bio. If that thing is still up, that's just a few of them. Because for me, I wanted people to win. There were people who didn't really understand the concept of putting yourself out there. I'm going to tell you, it is a little scary when it comes to business, when it comes to those things. This is a thing that a lot of people may not listen to, because you want the entertainment, you want all of this and that. But some of the things, of those of you who are willing to listen to this is where you're going to be able to make a difference by you understanding that, hey, I need to show up different. I need to show up in a way where I need coaching, I need the finances, I need the marketing, I need the operation, I need all of those things. And how often do I need to sit at the table? Who are the people who are going to support me, that supposedly have my best interests at heart? What are the questions I need to ask? So if that person, like a Fantasia, say she has a business coach will put you on game. They will tell, listen, baby, they will tell you what you need to know and the questions you should be asking. And we can learn, if you can learn how to sing a song, hold a note, read notes, or just to understand, and all the things that you do, yes, you can. Yes, you can understand certain things. And then that's when you find yourself at a different level. You find yourself in different rooms. You start having masterminds. You start spending days, hours, like 3 days. I usually once a year would go on these retreat, and it's all about business. It's 3 days, guys, 3 days of doing that, and just being clear. So when I come back, I would come back with a plan, and you have to figure out how often you do it. So if somebody is getting ready to do something, they have to understand that they too are a business. You are, and you need to show up in ways that are going to make a huge difference in your life, right? So let me know your thoughts on what I just shared on how are you willing to show up in your life and in your business, even if you're thinking about it, or if you're looking at someone, if you're going to look at someone and you are saying, um, they're doing this, they should know better, they should know this, they should know that. Maybe they don't, because the exposure, right? The proximity, who are you around? And I think any couple that's doing business together, they both need to be in these business building workshops, in these masterminds, not just one person. You can't just be the talent, right? You can't just be the talent and you have no idea of what's going on. You can trust someone, but God forbid something were to happen, you need to know some of the lingo. You need to understand on why, what are some of the things that you do, and together it can make a difference just to understand it. And it may not be that person's forte. Hey, if you're coming in here, thank you. It may not be that person's forte at all. It may not be their forte to learn about business, but if you don't, you're gonna get, like what them say, you in Jamaica, them say you get what a duck get. You're gonna get because you don't know. And because you don't know and you choose not to show up powerfully, then these are the things that do happen. So, where are you in business? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, give me an idea of how you see this when you see someone in business, when you see someone who's struggling, whether, especially, we're talking about the entertainment industry, because you grew up with your family and you love them, but now there are people who have invested in you, in your talent, and they're expecting their return, or I should say a return on their investment, and so family may not understand. One of the things too, I will say, is this, that sometimes you can be ostracized because people will see the talent. And if you've ever experienced it where you're talented, I know I'm super talented. There are people who want a piece of my talent. I want you to show up. I wanted you to do this and do that. And because the love of what I do, but my biggest thing is when somebody tries to take advantage of it, I am very clear on that. You may not think that I know, but I do. And most of the time, it's just a disappointment of like, hey, I'm giving of what I want to give. There's no need for you to try and, to take advantage of it. And so these are some of the things that many up and coming artists or entrepreneurs, and they may not know. They're not clear that there are people who will take advantage of the talent and feel as if they're doing you a favor. So as for Fantasia, I love her. I want her happiness. I want the happiness for her. Our thing is that she has her husband, and they're building something. But also, it comes a point where now with your family, yes, you can draw healthy boundaries. But I would say too, the healing is necessary. Healing is necessary. Healing is necessary to have those difficult conversations. Some of the conversations, yeah, may not need to be on social media, but the conversation itself can be behind the scenes, and just the clarity around it. You may not like somebody's partner, you may not like them for whatever reason. And I can always say game knows game, and for whatever reason, okay, I'm not here to speak on that, but I will say this, that any relationship that you're in, it is going to require one of the partners to, let's draw, it's a truce. There, we need to have some form of conversation. And I think even in the case of this very popular entertainer, if you guys are just coming in, because some of you are from different parts of the world, may not even know what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying that, dad or mom, they felt as if they were part of building you. A lot of people say, I was there from the beginning, and we understand that. And then somebody else just comes in. I would say take time to call a truce, have a conversation, just make the lines, just make it very clear, and then we can squash this. As a parent, I know that parents care about their children. It doesn't matter what age group they are, okay? It doesn't matter what age that you are. People care about their children, and you are going to continue to, it doesn't matter how old they are. You really are, you know, you are. Hey, Nick, how are you? 007, what's going on? Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can see you. So you have your thoughts. Go right ahead. You're more than welcome. Thank you for commenting. Makes a difference. Yeah, so listen to the message. You're so busy. Sometimes people are so quick on just talking and you know coming up against the messenger when you can listen to the message. And what I have to say is this: draw healthy boundaries around you, your business, your life, your relationships. Also, have an ear to listen, because I'm going to tell you, your parents, they know, they know. And I don't think any parent really want to go out of the way to embarrass their child, but sometimes if you can't get to them, it's almost like you're throwing out a lifeline. You're throwing out a lifeline to hear, you know, hoping that they will listen, hoping that they will definitely extend a listening ear. And so, that's my thought on that. Always, once again, building those healthy boundaries, drawing those lines, letting your family know, hey, I appreciate, I know you love me, I thank you, I hear you. And also, I would say to families, still stay close just in case. You must be able to trust one person in the family. No one should cut you off from entirely from your family. You can make that decision, but no person should cut you off from your family. They should be able, or your partner, your person that you're married to, you're with, should be able to say, hey, you know reach out to them and just have some clarity around it. Because if I believe that once you are clear on it and you have made that decision that you're my family, I love you, you come into my business or whatever, that's fine. With Fantasia, with her, like I said, she's an entity, she's a business. And one of the things in one of the interviews I was listening to, the dad said, they were doing a little cruise, and I don't know if her picture was on it, and so forth and so on. And you have to understand too that if her picture is on something and she doesn't show up, that's like false advertising. So once again, have conversations about business. You should be able to plan or put something in your business when it comes to your family, to say, hey, we are going to do this maybe once per year. Let's talk about it and see when we're what we're able to do. Keep your family close with healthy boundaries. Say what needs to be said and protect your peace. I just did a video on that, guys. You've got to protect your peace. It makes a difference when you're able to protect your peace. You are so worth it. If there's anything that I could tell anyone, is this: no matter what's going on in your life, no matter the ups and the downs, try to remember the good times. Find yourself a good coach, mentor, a therapist. If you have a business, get yourself a business coach. Get somebody who can really have that conversation and be willing to show up in powerful ways. And so you know what's happening in your life and in your business. It's just a little something, something that I wanted to add to that. But I'm going to say thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate you. I am thankful and I'm grateful that you chose to show up at this particular time. Come back and go and watch some of our videos. There's a brand new video that I'm talking about this one thing that you need to do, this one thing that is non negotiable. It will even help your health, guys. When you hear what I'm talking about, and being in the medical field, I'm going to tell you this one thing can make a huge difference in your, when we say psychosocial, right? In your life, it will make a huge difference on, you know, how you show up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I thank you. And if there's anything that I could do, let me see what we could do with this. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And always make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Take care of yourself, guys. You are so worth it. You got to take care of yourself.